All right, Bat fam, here we go. We are off and running today with a new Batman Part 2 video. I love it. I love it. Information is going to start trickling in. They start shooting in May of 2026, so more casting is coming. But we got to stick with this Scarlett Johansson train. If you don't know, she is in final talks to join the Batman Part 2. Has not been officially cast or announced in the cast as of this recording, but there's been a lot of rumors, a rumbling, a blazing about who she could be potentially playing in the Batman Part 2. Speculation is a love interest and a villain. The combo hits hard. Many people, I did a video on it already, are suspecting the Phantasm at play. That's right. Andrea Beaumont, the Phantasm in the movie, I think would be awesome, but there are some issues with that character coming in. I discussed it in the other video. I won't go into there. But one that keeps popping up, and I actually got a few emails earlier today regarding this, and that is the character of Hush. And would Matt Reeves gender bend Hush for the Batman Part 2? Hello everyone, this is Digital Charcuterie. My name is James. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new to the channel and a fan and looking forward to the Batman Part 2, hit that subscribe button. I talk about it and discuss it with you all right here on the channel. Let me know your thoughts of the Batman Part 2, what you're expecting in the comments down below, and what you make of Scarlett Johansson's casting and who you think she could potentially be playing in the movie. Let me know all of that. I love reading it and I reply to as many as I can. So let's get into it. Is this going to be a gender bent Hush? And would that make sense? And would it work? From the very beginning, Matt Reeves has made it clear that his Gotham is not about spectacle first. It's about psychology, trauma, identity, and consequence. The first film wasn't a traditional superhero origin. It was a 3-hour character autopsy of Bruce Wayne at his most broken and inward. The Riddler wasn't just a villain, he was a warped reflection of Batman himself, a product of the same corruption Bruce was trying to dismantle. That's not accidental. Reeves has always framed his villains as emotional mirrors, not just physical threats. And when fans asked him years ago which villain he would personally want to explore someday, his answer was simple and loaded. He said Hush. That alone is a massive tell, because Hush is not a bombastic villain, not a monster, not a god, but a deeply personal antagonist whose entire power comes from how well he knows Bruce Wayne. Hush is betrayal weaponized. Hush is Bruce's past crawling into his present. Hush is not about punching harder, it's about cutting deeper. In the comics, Hush is Thomas Elliot, Bruce Wayne's childhood friend who grows up resenting the Waynes, resenting Bruce, and ultimately reshaping his own face through surgery to wage a psychological war on Batman. Strip away the specific gender, and what remains is the core concept. Someone from Bruce's past who knows him intimately, understands his psychology, understands his weaknesses, and is patient enough to dismantle him slowly. The core concept is completely gender neutral. In fact, making Hush a woman arguably intensifies the emotional danger rather than diminishes it. Because now the threat isn't just an old friend, it could be a buried romance, a lost connection, someone Bruce once trusted in a way he rarely allows himself to trust anymore. The Reeves version of Bruce Wayne is still emotionally stunted, still socially isolated, still learning how to function as both mask and man. This is a Bruce who hasn't yet mastered the balance between Batman and Bruce Wayne. In Part 1, he almost rejects the Bruce identity entirely. So imagine introducing a woman from his past who knew him before the armor fully formed. Someone who remembers the boy beneath the cowl. Someone who can look at him and see through the suit, see through the symbol, see through the obsession. That is terrifying in a way no physical villain could ever be. And there are multiple avenues for how Reeves could reshape Hush for this universe without betraying the soul of the character. You could keep the childhood connection intact, a wealthy Gotham elite family destroyed or disgraced due to corruption tied directly or indirectly to the Waynes. A girl who grows up beside Bruce but experiences Gotham rot from a different angle. While Bruce inherits power and resources, she inherits loss. While Bruce internalizes his trauma and turns it into vigilantism, she internalizes it and turns it into vengeance. But both are shaped by the same city. Both become monsters in their own way. That parallel is pure Reeves' DNA. That is exactly the kind of thematic symmetry he built Part 1 around. Another path Reeves could take is leaning harder into the surgical and technological aspect of Hush. Instead of Thomas Elliot, the childhood friend, you get a brilliant Gotham surgeon, biotech engineer, or medical innovator, played by Johansson, of course, someone who has access to the city's corrupt elite, its broken bodies, its hidden wounds. Someone who understands how fragile the human form really is. Someone who can literally reshape faces and identities while metaphorically reshaping lives. That angle fits beautifully into Reeves' grounded, almost Fincher-esque aesthetic. No mystical gadgets, no sci-fi lasers, just cold medical precision and intellect used for psychological warfare. And again, Johansson thrives in roles where intellect is more dangerous than brute force. But perhaps the most devastating version of a gender-bent Hush is the romantic infiltration angle. A woman who enters Bruce Wayne's life in Part 2 not as a known threat, but as a connection, a potential anchor back to humanity. Someone who challenges his isolation, his obsession, his emotional distance. Someone who makes him consider the possibility of a life outside of the cowl. And then piece by piece, it's revealed that she is the architect behind the chaos tightening around it. Not as a random twist villain, but as someone whose relationship with Bruce was always part of the plan. That kind of betrayal doesn't just threaten Batman, it threatens the very idea that Bruce can never allow himself to be human again. That's the kind of emotional damage Reeves loves to explore, and that's also the kind of role Scarlett Johansson would probably eat alive. Now let's talk about the big fear surrounding gender-swapped characters, because it always comes up and it always dominates the online discourse. The fear is that the change is done for optics, for novelty, for controversy, and if that were the case, yes, it would be a very, 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 very bad idea. But in this specific context, the gender swap actually enhances the story's emotional architecture instead of weakening it. The heart of Hush is not male anger, it's intimate betrayal. That betrayal arguably becomes more complex and more volatile when romantic tension, emotional vulnerability, and trust enter the equation. Reeves' entire Batman saga is built on the idea that Bruce must learn how to trust people without losing himself. A female Hush weaponizes that exact journey. From a business standpoint, it makes almost ruthless sense. DC needs cultural impact, not just box office. The first film rebuilt trust with fans through tone and craftsmanship. The sequel must expand that trust into mainstream cultural conversation. Casting Scarlett Johansson instantly creates the conversation. It brings the audiences who may not even care about Batman but care about Johansson as a performer in. It adds prestige without sacrificing darkness. That's a rare combo. But none of this works if Reeves abandons the detective core. Hush is fundamentally a mystery villain. The best Hush story is one where you don't realize the noose is tightening until it's already around Batman's neck. The sequel must lean heavily into investigation, into psychological breadcrumbs, into Bruce following trails that all lead back to something he's been trying to forget. That means layered clues, half-truths, corrupted records, manipulated witnesses, staged crimes that slowly dismantle Bruce's perception of control. That means when Hush is finally revealed, the audience should feel the same sinking realization Bruce feels. Not shock, but dread. The sense that everything was inevitable. But let's be honest about the risks for a minute, because they're real. The first risk is fan expectation. Hush is a beloved character in the comics, and many fans have waited years to see a faithful adaptation. A radical reimagining always risks backlash. And that's the problem, right? Is people want to see Hush. Do they want to see a Hush that's not Thomas Elliot? They got that with the Riddler already in an animated movie. Do you want that again? Do you want that idea again? Does Hush's identity matter so much to fans? I would argue it probably does. Is this the way you want to see Hush done? The other question is, if we're talking about Scarlett Johansson as Hush right now, then there's no twist. No twist, because we already figured it out 2 years before the movie comes out. We figured out the twist. That's insane when we don't even know what the movie's about. So I would take everything with obviously a grain of salt. I would take it as fun, having a good time, and that's what I'm trying to do here. And I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you down for a gender bent Hush? I think, look, as a storyline, as character development, it really could work. But on the other hand, why not just make a new character? Why use an existing character? With Hush, like Phantasm, though, they both come with the issue of, we know the twist. We know what's going on. They have to work the stories without the twist being the focal point of all of those. I said that in a previous video as well. I think either character could work. I think Hush is one that Matt Reeves has wanted to do. That also might be why this is a character he's not going to do. Time's going to tell. We're going to learn more and more about this movie as May gets closer. I can't wait. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate your time. Hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, may you be the master of your own universe.